Hello, and welcome to Extra Joy. My name is Phil, and today, or tonight, or this morning, depending on when you're listening, I am joined by Mr. Matthew
Hi, I'm Mr. Matthew.
and Richard. I assume
Hey,
it's
that would
short
be me.
for Richard. Is that what it
It
says on your
is.
birth certificate? All right, nice.
Yes, I am
Jessica,
Richard. Yes.
What's up?
Kyle,
Bus ticket?
That's his full name. You're gonna get tripped up on somebody though.
Joshua,
Yes, what's up, guys?
and the other one.
Donnelly.
Yeah.
What's
Okay.
what's up, Donnelly?
I would have been okay with like Donald or Donovan. Donovan sounds
Yeah,
fancy.
no, that was just two. Donatello and
Don-
Yeah.
Donatello.
so Donatello's not as fancy as Donovan.
Is it not? It's a Ninja Turtle. That's like Italian or something, probably.
Well, what are we going to be talking about today,
Hold on,
Philip?
hold on. I wanted to say, since you were introducing everybody,
Okay.
what's up?
He was being more dignified than that by introducing us all with our full names.
Yeah, but I didn't call myself Philip, so I sort of fucked up.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, let's start over then.
No time. I ain't got time to start over.
No deal.
In any case, today we will be talking about the Kirby series.
As requested by so many people.
Yeah,
It's
I think they're good
Kirby's
vacuums.
20th anniversary this year. I hate Josh.
Good start.
It is the first day anniversary of me hating Josh.
Really, only the first day?
Yeah. This is a mess.
Well, Phil caught everybody off guard. Anyway, we're, we're talking about Kirby because it's Kirby's 20th birthday, and a lot of us here, in fact, most of us, all of us even, probably, I assume, all really like Kirby. And so let's talk about why we really like Kirby. Ricky, you should start because you really like Kirby.
I really like Kirby, and I was supposed to do a thing about Kirby, and I just didn't.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oh yeah, well you
Oh,
started
well.
it, so everybody kind of knows that you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was really cool. I was super hyped for the next one, and you let me down.
I
Like
did.
Kirby getting
It's but a single
deflated.
one now, but now is the best time to do it because they've got the Kirby six pack. So
Yeah, I'm gonna get
get
on
on
that.
that.
It'll be for Kirby's 25th anniversary. But anyway, I've been playing Kirby my whole life. Starting, my first Kirby game was Kirby's Adventure on the NES. It was the first game I remember playing to completion. And that was a big deal for me and my little toddler body. Uh, and then after that, I played Kirby's Dreamland and Kirby Superstar, which was my favorite one for like 20 years. And then I just have played pretty much every Kirby game, and they're all really fun. They're a big part of like my life and my identity. So
Your identity.
Yeah. What about your identity would you say is based from Kirby?
oh, my love of yo-yos, my affinity for food, my my willingness to play games starring cute round pink characters. When you play Kirby, like it's so young in life, and you grow up playing every new Kirby game that comes out, you don't slip into that dude bro mentality that like if it's not all about just blood and brown, then it's not a good game. And I don't believe that at all, and I owe a little of that at least to Kirby. I think.
I can
I don't know.
I can see it. I mean, he is pink and puffy, and not something your average dude bro would play, I suppose.
But what if they gave him little like angry lines on his eyes?
They did.
Yeah.
Many times over here, we 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 kept him pink, but he had to be a badass pink.
Yep.
Yeah, he had to be ready to just melt somebody with a scowl.
Well, first he was white.
Oh yeah, that
just
was
Game Boy.
more of a mistake.
Technical limitations. What's
Well,
what's the reasoning behind like him being
he-
white on the cover?
He wasn't white on the Japanese box art. Like whoever
Was
was,
he
in
not?
charge. No,
Was he pink?
Like- he was pink.
Huh.
But like whoever was in charge of the North American, and I don't know, maybe European box art as well.
Yeah,
But I
I
assume,
imagine so.
but whatever. They just like, oh, this game's in black and white. This guy's gonna be white.
Yeah, but the rest of the box art is like in color. Like Wispy
Yeah,
Woods
it's
is.
completely
Yeah, but
stupid.
it's trees and shit, so it's like, oh, the trees are green, obviously. But it's like,
maybe not in
Oh.
Dreamland. It's Dreamland, man.
hmm.
Maybe the trees.
But
are
the
purple.
color games prove that yes, they are.
Oh well.
This
Fair
isn't
enough.
Kirby related, but the box art of Gargoyle's Quest has like Firebrand as like his color is green, and obviously he's red armor, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Is that
totally
'cause, like,
wrong.
the Game Boy screens were green
Yeah.
tinted?
Yeah.
Wow.
So the artist was
That's messed
like,
up.
I guess he's green.
Yeah, he's a goblin, right? Goblins are green.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And, like, balls are white.
Yeah,
Yes.
all puffballs are white apparently.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Kirby's Dream Land. Ricky already reviewed it, so go watch that, so we don't have to talk about it.
I did. All right, let's not talk about it then.
All right, let's just skip Kirby's Dream Land entirely.
Nah,
Sounds
Kirby
like a
Stream
plan.
Land's a really fun little charming half-hour long game. And like Kirby owes everything to it. He wouldn't exist without it. He wouldn't have his whole like sucking shit up and
Yeah.
spitting it back out.
Flying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
flying. Wispy Woods, DDD. Like, it was the first game. It's kind of boring like now because you can't copy abilities and it's just a half hour long. But it started it all, and I think that's worth something.
I think it
But
was
then,
I think it was an interesting idea to try to make like a baby's first platforming game, like
yeah,
trying to
that's
make a game
basically what it is.
to ease people into playing other games like Super Mario.
Yeah.
I think that's a neat concept for anything, personally.
The story goes, take this with a grain of salt because I'm on the internet and you shouldn't believe everything I say. But the story goes that like they weren't originally like the Kirby design as we know it was just like a placeholder for like whatever else they were gonna put in later.
Mhm.
And then everybody was like, "Hey, this is actually adorable, and we should totally go with it," and they did.
Man, they're lazy.
Oh, did you know gaming?
Allegedly, I want that on the record.
Did you know that is not English?
I did not. Ricky, you were gonna say something before I interrupted you.
I was just gonna say like Kirby's Dream Land is cool and all, but Kirby's Adventure, man, that's where it's at.
That's where it started really kicking ass. It's got color.
Yeah.
It's got powers. It's got
Got parallax scrolling.
it's got more. Levels. I was about to say colors again.
It's got colors. It's got more colors. It does.
It does have more colors than the Game Boy version. That's
It's
Yeah.
got adventure.
Dude, Kirby's Adventure is a huge, amazing game, and it like my dad said for years that if it would have came out sooner in the NES lifespan, like instead of 2 years after the Super Nintendo was out, people would have been losing their minds. They'd be like, "This game is amazing. How are they doing this?"
because of like
I think that game is amazing for like an NES game. Like
Yeah.
it's one of the few
Although,
NES games that you can actually go back and still play, and it holds up still.
I wouldn't say few, but it definitely looks incredibly nice.
For me, at least, Kirby's Adventure, Super Mario Bros. 3, River City Ransom, stuff like that.
I wouldn't say it's the best NES game, but it's my favorite NES game, Kirby's Adventure. I have such fond memories of it. It's like I said, it's the first game I remember beating, and there's just like so much to it. There's so many abilities and levels. It's great.
A lot of love went into that game.
mhm.
It's very well crafted.
We played the GBA remake, Nightmare in Dreamland, on our
Which is
channel.
awesome. which is 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 awesome.
Yeah.
It is better.
Yeah.
but it kept all the annoying aspects of the original and that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, there are a couple just like really nitpicky things that I have with Kirby's Adventure, but as a game, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Is good.
Fantastic.
Nightmare on Dreamland was actually my first Kirby game, so
It was a lot of people's first Kirby game, I think.
Kirby's Adventure was actually mine, but I only played it because someone forgot it here at my house.
oh nice.
What a trip!
Got a freak.
What?
Yeah, and I didn't notice it until like years later because I found the cartridge.
I thought you
Nice.
didn't have an NES.
I had an NES. I just didn't have very many games. I didn't have. I only had one game for the Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah, that's right. Josh, you missed out on the best one.
Yeah,
Best
but
generation.
that best one being Kirby Superstar.
Kirby Superstar, man. If you want to talk about like best game ever, it's not the best game ever, but wow, it's so good. It was my favorite Kirby game. It might still be, but like since it came out, I just waiting and waiting and waiting for another Kirby game to be as good. And the reason it was as good was because it added something that every Kirby game needs, and like the games that came out after it just like didn't have it. And I was very pissed. But like every ability in Kirby Superstar has like an entire move set. It's not just like Cutter throws blades in front of you. You know, they all do like at least 4 or 5 different things. You know, except Stone. But like Sword, you can do all these like acrobatic like sword flips and shit, and fireball or fire, excuse me, can turn into a fireball and like breathe fire and like spin around with fire. There's like all the abilities are like fully realized like characters instead of just like versions of Kirby. And another part of that was that game added the hats.
Oh yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
I love
so like
hats.
the
I
Jester
had 2
hat.
medic hats.
It's totally Team Fortress Kirby. But
Yeah.
like that was such a big part of like that. I felt like that took the whole copyability thing to the next level. Like with both the hats and all the different moves you could do, it wasn't just Kirby with the beam ability. It was Beam Kirby. It was like its own little character. And that just made that game so fun and replayable. There's a million different ways you could play that game because of all the abilities and all the things you could do with the abilities. And it's
Also,
just
it's
best one.
multiplayer.
Oh yeah, multiplayer too, man.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big deal. All things considered, more Kirby games need to be multiplayer. I feel like all the best Kirby games are multiplayer.
They are.
Hmm.
Like, I just want to. They're just so much fun to just play with a friend like this Kirby game and like play as other characters or Kirby if you want, depending on the game. It's cool. It's cool to be able to run around as Waddle Dee with an umbrella.
Yeah, man. Kirby Superstar is fucking amazing. Just like on top of all that stuff that I just said, it had like the 7 different like um, little like games within a game, and like they all were different and like fresh, and like if even if you maybe didn't like one of them, I'm sure you would have liked one of the other ones. It's
They
just
to-
that game never got stale.
they totally like used that to their advantage too. Like right on the cover of the box, it's like 7 games in one, even though like 3 of them are like mini games. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
Break down punch.
But still,
Yeah.
like the Samurai Duel game, I can put that on any time, and anybody walking past is gonna want to have a go. You set that shit to like 100 games to win, and you just keep pashing that button, and you'll never get old.
Huh?
Even 100 games in, it's not gonna get old.
Yeah, well, we got about like 30 games in, and then we thought, how can we make this more challenging? So we put on blindfolds and then tried to do it just by sound.
How did that go?
Well, someone still won, but it was like, 10 times as slow as before. But it didn't get old, and that's the magic of Kirby.
Don and I, like more than once, when we've just been bored, Don and I will just load up Kirby Superstar and play Megaton Punch, and just like, you know, how Don's like great reactions. So I'll just be like, "Oh shit!"
Well, Megaton Punch, man, you could like break the planet. I don't understand how like
Yeah, that's intense. It's megatons.
Yeah.
yeah.
Megatons of fun.
What's a megaton like compared to a regular ton?
I
It's
think it's
mega.
1,000
Mega
tons.
man.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a mega. It's a mega, like a million.
1,000, I think. Mega millions.
Mega millions.
I don't know. But yeah. Kirby Superstar is so good. I could play it a million times,
Yeah.
and I have.
Go team.
That was actually our first co-op Let's Play, by the way.
It was.
It was that was a big deal.
It was,
And
yeah. It was,
we've since done almost every other multiplayer Kirby game
yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
Got to do Return to Dreamland someday.
because multiplayer Kirby games are the best Kirby games.
I don't know. My personal favorite is Kirby 64.
Oh, yeah?
Well, he does have mini games, so I guess it is technically multiplayer.
Yeah, sort of. I really like Kirby 64 too. I think it's kind of overlooked a lot by everybody, but I want to know why you like it. Why it's your
Actually-
favorite.
Go ahead.
Oh no, if you have an actually, then get it in before I go on a rant.
I just. I love Kirby 64. I think it's fantastic, but I actually think it's kind of overrated.
Oh.
Oh.
I think it's underrated.
Because I know that Phil really likes it. A lot of my friends in high school said that it was their favorite because more of them played it. And like just all over the internet, not just like Warp Star, which is sort of a biased thing, but like in just comics and like fan art in general, Adeline is like one of the most like well-loved Kirby characters. She's like a main character in Brawl in the Family, but she was only in that one game, and like I feel like the internet has this really like staunch appreciation for Kirby 64, and they should, but I don't know that they necessarily should over Kirby Superstar. But I'll pass the torch to Phil.
Well, I have to admit I have a bit of bias because Kirby 64 was the first one that I owned. I played Dreamland and Kirby's Pinball, I think, but I never actually owned them. So I had Kirby 64. I never played Superstar until Super Ultra Star, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Superstar Ultra.
Superstar
Star
Ultra.
Ultra.
Wow, it took you that long to play it. Never mind. Keep
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah. But anyway, Kirby 64. So it was like the only like real game. I get like one game every never, and so I just play it over and over again. And then I got to the end, and it turns out you have to get all the fucking crystals, and so you get the crystals, and you get the super secret boss, and it's like some like eldritch abomination. It's got like bleeding eyes and giant wings. It's like, what the fuck is this doing in my Kirby game?
Yeah, totally.
I thought this shit was for kids.
Yeah,
You gotta shoot it in its fucking cactus or something.
it's Cactus Butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love just like this creepy, scary shit in Kirby games.
Yeah, all of them have that.
Yeah,
Like total out of place stuff.
I love
But anyway, Kirby 64, the ability of mixing thing just blew my mind.
It's awesome. It's the best thing about Kirby 64.
Yeah. Once that happened, I thought, okay, Kirby can only go up. They're gonna have like 3 abilities you can mix in the next game, and it's gonna be crazy. And they never did it again, really.
Yeah.
And I thought that was such a big letdown because there was nothing more fun to me on the N64 than just like getting like 2 random powers and seeing what they make, and they always make something different. Excuse me. So you get like electric, and you think, oh wow, wonder what electric would be like with ice, and you put them together, and Kirby turns into a fridge. It's like, whoa, shit! It's just full of craziness, and then you have to use them to like solve puzzles and stuff.
Yeah, that's another one of my favorite parts. Like specific combinations open
Yeah.
specific puzzles.
So you could just play, just get to the end, like so. Then you get like fireworks or some shit, and you just, everything explodes. Or you
Dude,
can like,
fireworks is the best ability. Nothing can stand up to it.
or you think, okay, so you got to go back to a different level and get like stone or something, so you can come back with fire and make dynamite to blow up a chasm. It's great. It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
I think that's totally fair. I'm certainly not gonna like sit here and tell you, well, that should not be your favorite. I think it's great. It's in my top like 3 probably, but maybe 4. I just I don't know. I guess because I played Superstar first, and like I was
Sure,
so
yeah.
like I said, I was so waiting for like the next game to have like all these different things that you could do with each ability, and like in 64, yeah, you can mix them, and that's friggin' awesome. And some of them are super cool, like the exploding ninja stars or the lightsaber.
Yeah.
Um, that's awesome, but each of them still only does one thing, and
Sure,
like
sure.
I admit that's selfish of me. Like I shouldn't expect every Kirby ability to play like its own fighting game character. The Mega Man weapons don't all do that. They all just do one thing. So I really should look at it that way. But like once I just got that taste of Kirby Superstar, I just could never go back. It's like filet mignon, and I'm just like slumming it over here with ground beef.
Eating bologna.
Sure.
Well, it also like because of the fact that you mixed abilities, it only had so many like of the already established Kirby powers.
Yeah, there were only like 6, and then like you had to mix them to get the rest of them.
Well, it didn't mind me. It was the first one I played that had powers.
And there were no hats, which
Yeah.
which
Well,
is
you had lightsaber instead.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, when you can become a drill or a lightsaber or a fridge or a fucking what do they call the thing from curling? The curling weight. What do they call it?
Curling
Oh,
stone.
Oh, a stone. Well, you could become one of those.
That was fun.
Yeah, you don't need them. I think there was a lot of potential there with like combining
yeah.
abilities for later games. Like imagine being able to combine abilities and then they do multiple things. Like that would
Yeah.
just
Well, that's like why I was so disappointed. I know I'm like jumping the gun a little bit here, but like when Squeak Squad came out and they were like, "You can mix abilities," I was like, "Ooh, neat!"
Yeah.
That'll be like Kirby 64, and then it was not.
Yeah, it was all like sword, different
Yeah.
variations of sword.
Fire sword, electric sword, and that was it.
Yeah, those are super lame. Squeak Squad's like the worst one, but
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the most like generic. If you think of, like picture a Kirby game, what can you do? You fucking jump about, you can float, you can steal items, and maybe you solve a few puzzles here and there. And it's Squeak Squad, but it just doesn't have that magic edge that all the
yeah,
others do.
that's exactly it. Like it's a fine game, but there's just nothing. It just doesn't have anything like of its own. Like Amazing Mirror had that interesting Metroidvania style, and like Superstar had the multi-use abilities, and 64 had the mixing, and like Adventure had the just like it was the
introduced
first.
everything.
Yeah, it was just the first of its kind, and it had this really like charming like overworld where you're going through doors. Like if Squeak Squad just had like any one thing like to hang its hat on, it would have been better. But it's just so bland.
It introduced some really cool abilities that we've never seen since.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
Animal Kirby is fucking not only adorable, but it's super cool.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of fun to use. Like Metal Kirby's cool, Ghost
Did
Kirby's
they?
cool,
Yeah, Ghost Kirby. He was like the super secret thing that you had to collect the
Yeah.
medal for.
Bubble kind of sucks.
That's what I like about Kirby as well is you never always get the same abilities or even the same method of attack
Yeah.
from game to game. So you're like, oh man, I wonder if this one's gonna have like burning, or if it's just gonna be fire, or if I get fire, can I still do burning? Or is it gonna have yo-yo? And it doesn't have yo-yo. You're like, damn, it doesn't have yo-yo, but instead it has like whip or something. And you're like, yeah.
Whip. That's the coolest ability.
Well, there's so many abilities that they can do that. They can mix it up, and there's
Yeah.
pretty much they can make Kirby games for the rest of all time and like have a different combination of abilities every single time.
Hmm.
Just
What
because,
ability would you like to see Kirby have?
like a new ability,
Yeah, if you could like, they're gonna put any ability you want in the game.
that's hard because he does everything already.
He's had a lot. He's had pretty much like every element. I would like to see like a wind or like cloud Kirby. Like how like Cloud Mario can like make platforms.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be exactly like that, but some kind of like cloud power would be kind of cute.
You can
Uh,
make it rain.
I want a rainbow Kirby where he's like Nyan Cat and it's like poop rainbows.
Yeah, I'd be down.
Sure.
I want Gun Kirby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Call of Duty Kirby,
You could
Nuke
just
Kirby.
pack in with angry eyebrows.
Tank Kirby. Oh wait, that already exists.
I want a Kirby
Does
Kirby.
it?
Well, there's a Kirby tank in Epic Yarn.
Oh, right.
I mean,
Isn't like doesn't Kirby's Adventure have him in like a western where he shoots a gun?
Yeah, yeah.
And in the cartoon, he like I've only ever seen an animated GIF where it's just Kirby like firing wildly with an Uzi, repeated forever.
I've seen that too. Now that you mention it, I guarantee 4Kids censored the fuck right out of that one.
Kirby can ape shit with a water pistol.
I want to see Broom Kirby come back. The clean ability. My favorite ability.
It's only in that one game.
Dude, there. I understand that it's like the worst ability in that game, but if they like you put it in like the Superstar engine and like gave it shit to do, it could be awesome.
Be like roll.
Yeah,
Like sand attack.
yeah, they can make it awesome.
If we were gonna talk about Kirby Dreamland 3, I want GUI to be a thing again.
Yeah, Gooey's awesome. He should be
Dude.
playable in things.
Gooey, like, I don't know just where he went, you know?
Yeah,
I guess
like all
because
of
they,
the animal friends sort of just disappeared.
yeah.
There's they're statues now.
Yeah, yeah.
They're stone abilities.
Yeah.
It's gooey.
Yeah, like,
No, Gooey was a trophy, and Super Smash Bros. Melee, and then he was nothing ever again.
Rest in peace, in peace.
I really like Gooey. I know Phil does as well.
It's just weird. It's just I don't know. It, like so many things about Kirby like just don't fit, but like how much they don't fit makes them fit. Like all like the really like grotesque bosses and stuff,
Yeah.
and like just it's like a ball that is just like blah, 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 blah. It's just
Just like that.
yeah. It's just like weird. Just everything about Kirby is just so weird.
Yeah, I love that just like quirkiness to it.
Yeah.
It's so charming.
Yeah.
I love Gooey. I wish he'd come back. Dreamland 3 had a very unique style to it.
Yeah.
The graphics and like sound in Dreamland 3 are excellent, but
Yeah.
it was such a like. First of all, it was an odd choice for it to be on the Super Nintendo because A, the first two were on portable consoles. B, the N64 was already out.
For a year, no less.
So, like, once again, just as always, Kirby's late to the show, you know. And, like, there was already, like, the perfect Kirby game on Super Nintendo, and they're going to follow it with Dreamland 3. Like, I like Dreamland 3. There's a lot to like about it. Like, mixing the abilities with animal friends is pretty fun, and it's kind of similar to mixing abilities in Kirby 64 in that, like, you know, you pick up Spark, and you're like, okay, what can this do with the cat? You know, what can this do with the bird? What can this do with the blob thing that's not gooey? And like that's fun, and there's like puzzles that you have to solve with that, and that's fun. But it's just so inferior to Superstar in pretty much every other way.
Samus is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was Rob and
Yeah.
Takamaru.
Takamaru's not in it.
Who's the Ganbei and Hikari is what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Don't be lying to
What?
people.
They had a trophy in Melee, and like they're
Yeah,
in.
just like Gooey. And that was the last time either of them were seen.
There's just like a million cameos in Dreamland 3, and like that's neat, but give it a pass.
I think it's a good game.
I like it a lot.
Not
but
better
it's-
than pretty much any of the other ones, but it has Gooey, so I have a hard time like being like, "Hey, don't play this game." Plus, it's multiplayer. It's one of the few multiplayer Kirby games. If you like Kirby games, you should play it, but play the other ones first.
Kirby's Dreamland 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you should play it second, maybe, so you can set your expectations low.
Play it after Dreamland 1. Who cares about Dreamland 2? What did that do? Nothing.
Dreamland 2 is pretty fun actually, but
It
I never
int-
played it as a kid. Like I didn't play it till years later.
it introduced the animal partners,
It did.
but only 3 of them.
Who are they? Kind?
Koo and Rick. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Rick.
What's up?
It also had like Dark Matter as like
Yeah.
one with the sword.
Yeah, well,
Like-
like Dark Matter's like the most recurring Kirby villain. And,
I know, but they had like the sword form, which is awesome.
it is.
Get the sword.
Yeah.
Get it. Whatever it is.
I think it's just get.
Yeah, just get.
Yeah.
Just get. Yeah.
Go on, get.
So every time you like said something, you should have just dropped a word each time, and you would have eventually got it.
Yeah.
Get the sword.
Like-
Get it. Get.
That's the one. Ding, ding, ding.
You would have got it eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah, that was really cool. And then, like, after Dreamland 3 and Kirby 64,
There was.
they remade Nightmare in Dreamland, or remade Adventure called Nightmare in Dreamland.
Dude,
And then after
totally
that,
skipping all the like spin-offs like Avalanche and shit.
Yeah.
oh, you guys want to talk about those? Go.
No.
Um,
Can't
Kirby's
say I
Ghost
played
Trap
those games.
was like Puyo Puyo, but it had Kirby in it. Also, there was a golf game with Kirby in it, and a pinball game where you played as Kirby.
And a game
Kirby's-
where you tilted the controller.
Oh yeah, Tilt and Tumble.
Temple Tumble was fun, dude. It was just that, like, the old school Game Boys were not backlit, so, like, every time you tilted it, you just wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to see it.
I think Kirby's block ball is cool, but it's just breakout. Kirby has like this natural like he can do whatever Nintendo wants him to do thing. He's just been in a million different games, like pinball games and golf games and breakout ripoffs. and
Fighting games.
Fighting games. Yeah, he can do everything. Kirby can do anything. And he has.
I really liked Kirby Star Stacker, actually. I played that a lot on the Game Boy. It's just like a puzzle-y type game.
Well, it is a puzzle game.
Yeah.
It's not puzzle-y.
It's kind of like Pokemon Puzzle League, except that instead of like matching 3, you have to like sandwich 3 between the animal friends. So like if you have like 3 star blocks and on either side of them is like coup. It has to be the same animal friend, you know.
Mhm.
But then they disappear, and like it was really fun. I played it a lot.
That was also on the Super Famicom, but we never got
Yeah.
it.
I only played the one on the Game Boy because that's the only one we got. The one on the Super Famicom was Kirby Superstar Stacker, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because Super, right?
Yeah, because it's super. It's in color, even though it's pretty much the exact same game.
Yep.
But it looks cool. So
Yep.
there's that. Knuckle Joe's in it, and he's cool.
Oh yeah. Anyway, after like Nightmare in Dreamland, like I said, I think that was a lot of people's first Kirby game. It was pretty successful. I had a lot of friends in high school who played it despite knowing nothing about Kirby. And after that, they were like, "Well, clearly, like everybody's got a Game Boy Advance. We gotta just like that's the direction we should go in." So they made Kirby and the Amazing Mirror.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
a huge.
think
I'm not a huge fan of Amazing Mirror, but go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think the reason why so many people started with Nightmare in Dreamland is because that's when they started putting the angry eyes on the box.
Yeah.
No, it's because of that awesome commercial. He's the man of many, many faces. No?
He may be pink, but he's really dangerous because that totally rhymes.
They were advertising for Kirby, man, so people bought it.
So wait, the advertisement used what theme?
Secret Agent.
Secret
Man.
Agent
Okay.
Man.
Okay. All right.
But with Kirby lyrics because
Oh,
Kirby.
okay.
Awful lyrics.
Because like I could hear it, but I couldn't recognize it. Like I couldn't identify.
It was Kirby, Nightmare in
Nightmare in
Dreamland,
Dreamland.
which totally has the same amount of syllables as the Secret Agent.
Yeah, it was pretty stupid.
It was dumb. It was dumb, but
Oh,
people bought it.
I don't think that was the best commercial for Kirby. A Kirby game.
You think it was a power paintbrush?
Yes.
I like
Yeah.
the your Canvas Curse commercial.
AKA Canvas Curse. Yeah. Power paintbrush in the UK's. Canvas
That's
Curse everywhere else.
No, the best Kirby commercial is the Epic Yarn commercial, man. That commercial is so cool.
I wanted to talk about Amazing Mirror.
Oh well, now we're talking about commercials, so fuck you.
Yeah, shut up. Commercial first.
All right, let's talk about Amazing.
He's developed a perfect six-pack.
That's
Whoa, not that kind of six-pack.
Okay.
yes.
Amazing Mirror.
I don't think I ever saw the Epic Yarn commercial.
No?
Me
Well,
neither.
you should watch it when we're done recording this podcast because it's awesome. But Amazing Mirror was like the follow-up to Nightmare in Dreamland in that it was on the Game Boy Advance and used pretty much the exact same sprites. But it was completely different because it was like Metroid, where you were lost all the time, always.
Yeah, and
And
like
you got
4
help.
Kirby's
Yeah, you had
and
4
a
Kirby's.
phone.
Like they never did anything for me. Like when I played Amazing Mirror for the first time, I was like, "Hey, cool, 4 Kirby's, man. Maybe I can like co-op with some other people, right?" That's the
Yeah,
idea
well,
behind
that's totally the idea behind it. They're
it.
useless as like AIs.
Hmm.
Good luck finding
Yeah,
3 other people to play with.
exactly. Like
Because you need 3 link cables.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's like super rare already for like anything other than Pokemon, you know?
Yeah,
Hmm.
that was pretty
So
bogus.
that feature wasn't really utilized, but
Yeah,
maybe it was
and it was
because
the main
like
gimmick.
maybe it's because like Nintendo was trying to push that type of thing, you know, like with Four Swords and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Hmm. Man,
So
the
it's
worst thing about that game is like when all the partners are there and you have the hammer ability and you're like right near a part where you need to use it and you get hit and one of the fucking useless AIs eats it and then dies immediately.
can't say that's happened to me,
Yeah.
That's
but
happened to
I
me.
can't say I played the game for very long.
Yes,
I,
that totally situational. The outcome there is totally the worst part of Kirby Amazing Mirror.
Shut up.
The thing I didn't like about Amazing Mirror was that it was so different from the other ones. Like I give it, like Ricky said, they're all different, but like it was like Metroid, and I got lost all the time, and I had no idea where it was going ever.
I like what they were trying for, but they really screwed the pooch. Like, go ahead, Donald. I want to go on a big rant. So
I was gonna say like there's nothing wrong with a game being like Metroid, but I felt like they weren't doing it right, you know.
no, they weren't making use of that at all. Like
Well, you
the
go on.
the thing that just like really bothers me about it is that they were too scared to go all the way and make it just like full on Metroid. They wanted to keep like Kirby elements just for the sake of tradition, which is never a good thing to do when you're designing a game, you know. So they kept like the star doors and like the gold posts, because like Kirby games have those. But like all that did like Metroid games work because the map is, in Super Metroid or Symphony of the Night, like the map is very clear. Like this room is to the left of, this room. This room is below this other room. It's very easy to understand where you are, even though the map is just like blue and white. You know,
Mhm.
with Amazing Mirror, like because there's the doors, that you have to like press up to go into. There's not a clear link between rooms. And like that is a fatal flaw to have in any Metroidvania game. You need to have a clear link between rooms so you can understand where you've been and where you're going. And like the map in Amazing Mirror is god awful. They try to like, it's just boxes with lines drawn between them, and they try to like, if there's like an exit on the top right of a room, they try to make the line go there, but because of the way the map is laid out, they can't always do that. And very often you're trying to get to this one room and you go in the wrong door, and because there's goals that they put in there because it's a Kirby game and they need those, you'll just like get trapped on the path to the goal, and you'll have to start the whole like area over, and it's just like padding to make it longer, and it's just really really frustrating. And like if they would have went all the way and made it more like for example Milky Way Wishes and Kirby Superstar, like as you play through it, you can't copy abilities in Milky Way Wishes, and as you play through it, you like earn abilities to keep forever, and then you can just always use them whenever you want. You'll find Yo-Yo, and then you just have it, and you can call upon Yo-Yo whenever you want. And if Amazing Mirror had been more like that, and like where you know what happens all the time in Amazing Mirror is you get to a fuse or a post in the ground, and you're like, okay, I need to go back to this part and get fire or stone so that I can pass this puzzle. You don't feel like you're constantly evolving and maturing and getting access to new areas. You just feel like you're constantly like,
Running back and forth.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
like a great Metroid game, in Super Metroid, you're like, oh, I can't pass this part yet. I don't have the grapple beam, And Kirby's Amazing Mirror, you're just like, oh, I would have hammer, but I just lost it because this is a fucking water section and I got hit. So now I have to backtrack all this way to get hammer. If it had been where like you just constantly earn new abilities as you progress throughout the game, I think it would have been much better.
Yep,
I like that
it
idea.
sure would have.
But instead,
Yep.
that's not what happened. So I'm pretty sure everything that I accomplished in that game, I didn't beat it. And I'm pretty sure everything that I accomplished to make it as far as I did happened on complete accident.
I got stuck.
Because it's easy to get stuck.
Mhm.
I
And it's just obnoxious to have to backtrack all over the place. And like I remember, because everywhere like at least looks different. Like you'll go through a door and suddenly you'll be in like a water area, or you'll be in like the deserty area. And I remember just going through door after door after door and forgetting which door led to what, and just being lost all the time.
Yeah, and you can't rely on the map because it's ass.
Yeah, I just remember being lost a lot, and I feel like that's not right for a Kirby game. Like it's fine if they want to do it in that Metroid style, but
I don't completely hate Amazing Mirror. I think it's interesting to see the Kirby series like try to take on something new, even when it doesn't work. But it doesn't work, so like ultimately, it's not a great game because of it.
Amazing
Also,
Mirror
Ironically, it's
is
an
a
ambassador.
yeah. I was about to say it's an ambassador game, and I was like, man, why did they give us this one?
because they're selling Kirby's Adventure in 3D
Ooh,
for $8.
fuck
So
your face.
buy that one instead of getting Dreamland the remake for free, or Nightmare in Dreamland the remake for free.
that's exactly why.
Yeah,
The other
that's
thing that bothers me about Amazing Mirror is that like they followed like because they had all these assets and like the engine and the coding of the abilities from Kirby's Adventure remake. They just like
Nightmare on
plopped it in.
Dreamland?
Yeah, they just like plopped it into Amazing Mirror. So like in Nightmare and Dreamland, I wasn't expecting them to make the abilities more like they were in Superstar because it's a remake. I was like, yeah, Kirby's Adventure was great, that's fine. But I was hoping that the next game would like expand upon that and go back to the way it was in Superstar, since they added the hats. They added the hats in Nightmare and Dreamland. So I was like, okay, next game's gonna be more like Superstar, and I was just waiting for 15 years, and I never got it until later. But like, yeah, Canvas Curse continued like the Kirby tradition of just like one-note abilities that I don't particularly care for.
Hold on, real quick about Amazing Mirror. You're saying how they reuse a lot of the assets. One of the new things that I thought was really cool was Master Hand.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
awesome.
and magic
yeah,
or melee abilities.
the smash ability is what they called it.
Smash.
It was like crossoverception, man. It was like Hal and Sakurai made Kirby, but then they also made Smash Brothers, where they introduced Master Hand and like gave Kirby this moveset, and now in Amazing Mirror, Master Hand is a boss, and Kirby can use those abilities. It's like
Whoa, full circle.
whoa,
Master
yeah,
Hand's a Kirby
Whoa.
character now.
yeah,
That
he
makes the
is.
Smash Bros.
Whoa.
Games Kirby
Kirby
games.
games. Whoa, mind blown.
Oh, well, I think Super Smash Bros. Brawl is a Kirby game.
Yeah,
The
It is.
subspace. So
fuck,
Yeah,
bro.
maybe we
Toon
should
it
talk about
plays.
that.
It plays just like Kirby.
Toon
There's
Link is
like
my favorite Kirby character.
there's like cannons and those little launcher things from Superstar.
The It has the doors. The
Yeah,
stage layouts are all the same. It's a Kirby game, but not
There's
as
like
fun.
co-op. There's
yeah.
also
There's like food items that you can pick up.
it
And here we go.
controls like Superstar.
Yep.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Whoa.
Brawl is Kirby.
It totally is.
My
Yeah.
mind is blown.
Obviously, the Smash Bros. Like fighting system was just like practically designed from Kirby Superstar in a way, with like the directions and the button presses. You know what I'm saying?
Slightly. It's a little more like streamlined for a fighting game type thing, but I see what you're saying.
Well, let's see here. We got the shoulder button in Superstar is like guard.
Block.
Yeah, and so it's like shielding in Smash Bros. As well. So yeah,
Same game. That
Same
button
game.
did the same. That button did the same thing in both games. Same
Smash,
game.
just the same exact game.
One button does the same thing. Same game.
Wow.
You can jump, you can like platform, and like I said, the directional attacks. Yeah, same game.
You're
So,
blowing minds right now, Don.
so the Space Emissaries, the Kirby game, dude.
It is. It is. There was gonna be a super cool Kirby game on the GameCube, but it never came out. And instead, we
It
got
did
Kirby.
come out. It was called Air Ride.
I said a super
Yeah.
cool Kirby game on the GameCube.
It did
Well,
come
let's
out.
talk about Air Ride.
Okay, let's talk about Air Ride. I'm gonna piss Tim off because I don't think Air Ride is any good.
Where's that guy? Who's Tim?
Yeah, well, Tim is a member of Adamant Ditto who really likes Kirby, and he also really likes Kirby Air Ride. And I think Kirby Air Ride isn't very good because you don't actually have to play it to beat it. You could just sit there, put the controller on the ground, and Kirby just goes straight for you. It's like a racing game where
On
you're like,
Connect.
yeah,
Well,
sure.
okay, hold on. I didn't play Kirby Air Ride myself, and but I was reading that Iwata asked for Kid Icarus, and like Iwata and Sakurai were talking, obviously, and Sakurai was like talking about how like he sort of deconstructed like a certain genre and then put it back together, and he did that for Kirby Air Ride. Like he took the racing genre or whatever, and then he took like an element where it's like drifting, and then he made that like the core mechanic, and sort of designed it around that.
Well,
So that's kind of interesting, you know.
it is interesting, but I don't think it was all that well executed because you barely have to do anything to win a race. Like you can copy abilities and like use moves and stuff, and like that's fine. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad game, but it's too easy and there's not enough to it. I think they should have just fucking ripped off Mario Kart, but with Kirby abilities. Like just do that, and it would have been a better game. Like I think it looks really nice, and like I think it sounds great, and that's just a Kirby thing. And for a Nintendo 64 game, it's pretty impressive considering that's what it was originally on. But I'm not a fan.
It does sort of play itself, but you are also exaggerating. You can't just like put it on the ground.
It plays itself, bro.
You play yourself.
You what? You probably won't win if you just put the controller down, but he does go like automatically.
So
Right. Because it's all about drifting.
Yeah.
It's not about like controlling acceleration.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a fan.
I think it's just okay as well. But that like the most enjoyment I got out of Air Ride was that goofy mode where you're just like it's just like GTA, Kirby GTA. You're just like going around this like weird little city, and there's just like stuff to find. You could like find wispy woods and just like grind on shit, and it's like totally like the Woohoo Loop or Island Flyover in Wii Sports Resort. You like it's just relaxing and fun to just like go look at stuff, but it doesn't make the whole game great, and it makes it fun for about 45 minutes.
Dynablade's in that mode.
Yeah, exactly. Dynablade.
I
Acknowledgement of Kirby Superstar.
That mode's cool, but like because you're confined to like a warp star, and warp stars just move all the time, always in that game. It was kind of hard to like get to like some of the smaller areas. Like there were like buildings you had to go in between and stuff, and I always had a hard time like getting in there to get to those parts because the controls are not great. Kirby Air,
It's
So,
not one of the best.
that's all. Let's all just talk over.
Yeah, I got something to say.
can I go? 'Cause, like I'm still talking about Air Ride here.
Yeah, go.
All right. I was gonna say, from what I know, like I mentioned before, I've never played Air Ride, but like, uh, Air Ride was like the first like Sakurai game with like the challenge thing, the challenge board thing.
It did. If you just turn it on, it looks like Brawl.
Oh
The menus and everything are
yeah, 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 yeah,
led the
yeah.
way. to Brawl, and then subsequently Kid Icarus. So you could definitely tell it was Sakurai.
It's a Sakurai game because of
Yeah.
the crazy shapes for menu buttons.
Yeah,
Same game.
yeah, same game.
Same game, dude. Kirby Air Ride is a fighting game.
Yeah.
Well, the Dragoon is in full circle.
Same game.
Can you play his Toon Link?
No, I wish you could.
It's not a
Solid-
Kirby
You have
game.
his hat.
Solid Snake is playable in
It's not a
Kirby Air
Kirby
Ride.
game. All right. Anyway, what were you guys gonna say before I stopped you guys?
I was just gonna say that it was a fun distraction, but it wasn't the Kirby game that the GameCube deserved. And that was the only Kirby game on the GameCube.
Yeah.
We never-
What about Melee?
Well, okay, Melee.
Oh,
but,
dude. Yeah. Melee's the best one.
well, Melee is the best game for the GameCube. So you got me there. Thanks a lot, Phil. But there wasn't a Kirby game with Kirby in the title for the GameCube. There was supposed to be that super awesome Kirby game that they showed at E3, and then we didn't see again till years later, and then it wasn't even really the same game anymore.
Yeah, but so was Air Ride, was it?
Air Ride was originally going to be for the Nintendo 64.
Yeah. So like,
I
it
think the
wasn't even the
disc.
same game, right?
I think the disc drive. Well, it was going to be a like racing game on Warp Stars.
Okay.
But like, if you go back and watch the like trailer for Kirby GameCube, it was gonna be more like Superstar in that you can control like partners instead of just what ended up being in Return to Dreamland.
I want to
And,
say there was like more like prototypes for Kirby GameCube, wasn't there?
There
It was a
was
tilt and tumble game, wasn't it?
there was going to be a Tilt and Tumble game, I think. There were several different like variants of what was going to be Kirby GameCube, but the one they ultimately showed off at that E3 was the one I'm talking about. It
Alright.
not Epic Yarn.
Oh,
It
okay.
it looked like Superstar mixed with 64 is what it
Yeah,
looked like.
it had you know how in Superstar you copy an ability and then you make like a helper of it. It had that, but times 4.
Yeah, you can afford.
You could have 3 helpers and like Kirby, and that was 4-player. And I was like, I want this game inside me now, and it never happened.
Yeah, it was never released. Like every other Nintendo game that they showed off, that like that E3, like I remember they showed Donkey Kong Barrel Blast. They showed and
Super Paper Mario.
Super Paper Mario. All those games were originally going to come out for the GameCube, and they ended up being moved to the Wii, but the Kirby game just never showed up.
Silence.
Yeah, nothing. Just nothing.
Huh.
But anyway, yeah, that was the missed opportunity of Kirby GameCube.
Yeah.
The next Kirby game to come out would be Canvas Curse, which is pretty damn good, actually.
Canvas Curse is great. Power Paintbrush.
Yep.
I never beat it.
It's fantastic. I have a funny story about Canvas Curse. I got it for my birthday, and this was like not long after the DS came out. So I put it in the slot and I turned it on, and I got like the special sound that plays on your birthday. But I didn't know about that, and I was like, oh my god, Kirby Canvas Curse has its own unique startup sound for the DS.
But it didn't.
Disappointed. I was disappointed when I found out that was not the case. But,
Kirby
it's really
Canvas
good.
Curse is awesome, man.
It's great. It really showed off like what the DS could do.
Yeah.
I think in a better way than Mass Attack, which came out towards the end of the DS's life.
You can make rainbows with your finger, dude.
Yeah. Touch Kirby.
Get
Yeah.
busy.
Dude, once again, the commercial for Canvas Curse was awesome.
The super like the one with the
Finger.
thumb.
Yeah,
or
the
middle finger.
giant finger, like, pushing Kirby
Pushing him
on
forward.
the slide and stuff like that. Not
When
slide,
he
the
laid
swing.
down over the puddle so the Kirby would like waddle his way across him. What a stupid commercial!
Shut up.
It was great.
It was awesome.
No, it was great and super memorable, but it was also super stupid, and you know it.
Shut your face.
Well, it's a game where you control Kirby with your finger, so you got to use your finger to keep Kirby safe
Yeah,
from puddles
I
and not being able to go on the swing.
I understand that.
What was like the DS like catchphrase back then?
Touching is
That's
good.
Yeah, touching is good.
That was Nintendo's like rebel
Yes.
phase. They were being.
But they were the most successful.
We
Yeah.
love to play, and touching is good.
That was dirty Nintendo. Yeah, Canvas Curse is great. Interesting idea for a Kirby game. Not very many abilities, but
Well, no.
it didn't have to be because it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
It wasn't
more about.
it.
Yeah, exactly. It's more about the drawing mechanic.
Yep.
Great fun.
And also
very-
new assets.
Very. Yes, really pretty. Like those sprites have like a billion colors. Because they're on the DS and they can do that.
Yeah.
You know.
I think they look better than what they've done, what they did afterwards, like with Superstar Ultra and Mass Attack.
Dude, the sprites in Mass Attack are kind of butt. Like
Yeah,
Kirby's arms are so square.
Canvas
They look
Curse
like-
is
Canvas Curse is a great game, and I think it was very successful at like still feeling like a Kirby game, even though it was completely different.
Yes.
It's not easy to do. You know?
That's what all the Kirby games are like. Even like the pinball ones.
They still
Like-
feel like Kirby games.
Like Kirby's Dream Course. Yeah, you still have like powers and stuff. You still have to fight enemies, even though it's a golf game. This game, even Canvas Curse, even though it's completely different, it's about drawing tracks with a stylus. It's still a Kirby game.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Mass Attack is the same, but I haven't played it.
Mass Attack's good, but I just have a lot of issues with it. One last thing I want to say about Canvas Curse is that the soundtrack is awesome.
Dude, I was gonna say that. Soundtrack is good, so you got another vote for me.
It's so good, even though it's like all remixes of old Kirby songs. The old Kirby songs are so great, and the remixes are so great that it's just a great soundtrack. Anyway,
Has there been a bad Kirby soundtrack? I can't name one.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so
I've always lauded the Kirby series for having like the most consistently good music in video games.
pretty damn great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then what? Let's see. What came up?
After that was Squeak Squad, which we kind of already talked about.
Yeah,
Boo.
kind of bud, kind of generic.
Like Shit Squad.
Dude, okay, hold on. In Squeak Squad's defense, I really like the villain.
The mice guys,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Roach, the Squeak Squad.
the Roach.
Yeah.
They're cool. They're cool villains.
I don't get why his name is the Roach when he's like a rat or a mouse.
I don't.
The rat.
I didn't like how like we talked about Dark Matter before and how he's like the most recurring Kirby villain. And in Amazing Mirror, the villain was Dark Mind, who's basically because that game takes place in like Mirror World. So Dark Mind's like the mirror version of Dark Matter. So it's like okay, I'll accept that. But then in Squeak Squad, they were just like, okay, there's gonna be like another giant eyeball shaped like a star, and he's gonna be called Dark Nebula. And by that point, I was just like, okay, this is getting silly. You know,
I'm sick of giant eyeballs.
this game where you play as a pink puffball and dig through dirt with animal claws is a little too silly for my tastes.
What was the name of the like special rod weapon in that game?
Oh, TriStar,
Yeah.
it's like the motion picture company.
Yes.
It was Triple
Triple
Star.
star.
Triple Star, yeah.
Triple.
Fucking copyright infringements. Jeez, Ricky.
Yeah. Rest in peace, TriStar.
You know, well, we've been talking about like these villains and stuff, but like we actually haven't really talked about King Dedede or Meta Knight, really.
Yeah, because they're not necessarily villains.
I know
They're-
they're not, but
Yeah.
we
But
have. There's
characters
still
in the
like
games.
we're like practically an hour into this podcast, and we've barely talked about such great and cool characters.
We are,
Done.
indeed.
Thought you died for a second there, dog.
You disappeared for a second, Don.
Oh, what?
You disappeared for a
Okay.
second.
Well,
Wait,
what did
kept
you
your
miss?
message.
You said we're almost an hour into the.
Oh, okay. I was saying we're almost an hour into the podcast, and we like barely touched up on like these great characters.
They are so great. Like
Hmm.
both of them.
Yeah.
Right.
King
You
DDD
know,
is like one of the funniest characters.
What I wouldn't expect either King Dedede or Meta Knight to have would be a Southern and Spanish accent, respectively.
Hold on.
All 4 kids where everything has an accent.
Phil, do you mind explaining Day to Day and the anime? Why they call them DDD, maybe?
I don't know.
No? Okay. I figured you might know, but I don't know.
Like, why is he DDD?
I guess it's just like it's just 4 kids. They're like, hey, is that how you pronounce King Day to Day?
That's just how like English speakers interpret that succession of letters.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and like even in Brawl, they changed it.
Yeah. I think in Ghost Trap they say Dedede. I think. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Nah, fuck it, quote me on that. I give a fuck.
What's Ghost Trap?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know what
Dr. Robot next to me, B Machine.
Oh, sure.
Player Pop?
Yes, Puyo Puyo.
Kirby's Avalanche.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think they have like voiceovers for the whenever you get to new guy, and I think they say day to day. But then in the cartoon, they were just like, fuck it. He's like, I'm gonna get that Kirby and get my fried chicken.
I'm gonna get me Kirby. Ugh.
But he did
I
have
like-
Escargoon, which was pretty badass.
Escargoon. What a character.
I like Escargoon.
He's
I don't
cool,
know.
Yeah,
man.
he's cool.
I also like that TV guy.
Yeah, but he's
En-
just like he's
en-
just
Head of
also it's
enemy.
really fucked up.
Yeah.
Enemies canon, man.
Yeah, they're all canon now.
According to Mass Attack.
That's right.
But he's just ahead.
Pretty silly, but like
Yeah.
about going back to like DDD and Meta Knight, how they're just like so like anti-heroes basically. You know, like DDD's really greedy and Meta Knight's all just like serious, but like neither of them are outright like antagonists anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really
Kirby
like
was
that
great.
about the Kirby series.
You can play as him
Yeah.
in a later game.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You can play as Meta Knight.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's
you-
Day
Smash Bros. Brawl.
You could play as Meta Knight
Yeah.
in Nightmare in Dreamland.
Yeah. And an
Yeah.
air ride.
Well, yeah, but Nightmare in Dreamland came first.
And in Canvas Curse, can't you like stick if you have, oh no, maybe it's if you have Nightmare in Dreamland in your GBA slot, you get Waddle Do, I think, and you
I
have to
think that
unlock.
is what it is.
You unlock Day 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 and Meta Knight
And Waddle Dee.
and Waddle Dee.
Yeah.
Waddle Doo. Can
Yeah.
you play as Waddle Doo as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You can also play
Yeah.
as Meta Knight in Superstar Ultra.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nope.
is that where you fight like Ultra Meta Knight? And it's like some weird like white guy.
Galactonite.
Yeah. That's weird.
I think
Galactonite.
Galactonite is cool. He's got a badass like theme song, and he's just cool. Something about the fact that like the Ultimate Warrior, because that's what Meta Knight asks for. He's like, he summons Nova and gets one wish, and he's like, I want to fight the strongest person in the universe. And Nova's like, okay, here's this guy. The strongest warrior like in the Kirby universe is white and pink. So I dig that. I think
It's Kirby.
I think that's very appropriate.
Yeah, Galactonite is actually
Kirby from
Kirby.
the future.
Yeah, future
Oh, wow.
Kirby.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think he should have been like, I want to fight the most powerful person in the universe, and then Fatty Whale shows up, and you have Fatty Whale.
Ortmer.
You have to fight that big Waddle Dee from.
It should have been Starfy.
No, it should have been
Gooey.
Mr. Flossie.
Mr. Flossie.
Should have been the dude from Donkey Kong 3.
Stanley the Bugman?
Yeah.
Why?
Strongest guy in the universe.
That's true. He is.
Why is he the strongest?
Because he beat Donkey Kong with just bug spray.
Yeah, exactly.
The bug spray is strong, not Stanley the Bugman.
Oh. Okay, what about the urban champion then?
Oh, all right. Well, he's pretty strong, but he's afraid of
Yeah.
the cops. So,
Doesn't want to get in trouble.
well, yeah, I know.
Kirby teaches good messages for kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if someone steals your cake, fuck them up.
Even if it turns out it wasn't really your cake they stole.
Yeah.
Good, strong morals from the Kirby.
And in Kirby Dreamland, Kirby's like the villain because he tries to stop King Day, but it turns out he was doing the right thing. And then Nightmare gets out.
Yeah.
Kirby's not really a hero. He just goes around eating people.
It's a very,
Pretty much.
very first game in the series. Well, I always thought that was like weird because like Kirby's just going around like fucking people up, and especially like Wispy Wood. Like, what is that guy doing to deserve to be beat up by Kirby on a regular basis? Like,
He's blowing wind and throwing apples.
like
Trying
What
to
a
feed him.
monster!
Trying to appease the monster.
in pretty much every game you fight Wispy Woods, except for Dreamland 3, because I know Ricky's going to say something about it. He is completely stationary, can't get up, can't do anything, minding his own business, and then Kirby's like, hey, you're in my way, dead. Like, Wispy Woods doesn't deserve any of it. You make him cry. Kirby's an asshole.
Sure.
At least the walls you had to face in Amazing Mirror were more in your way than a tree that you could just literally walk past.
No, Kirby can't walk past because it's in a two-dimensional space.
Okay, well, what about
The only way to
64,
travel.
where he like walks around him in a circle?
No.
Yes, he could just leave whenever he wanted. He does not have to fight Wispy Woods. That is not a priority. Kirby does it for shits and giggles. Kirby's a terrible person.
He even beats up Wispy Woods when he's sick in Kirby's Dreamland too, because for some reason he has like those like surgical masks that Japanese people wear when they're sick. No, nobody. Okay.
Ah,
Like Phoenix Wright wears one in Phoenix Wright 3.
I know what you're talking about. A surgical mask. Yeah,
Anyway,
I know-
Wispy Woods has one of those for some reason.
that's weird.
Does it?
Yeah,
It's weird.
it's super weird. He's got a cold, and Kirby just fucks him up anyway.
Let's see what came next. I guess Epic Yarn would be
Yeah.
next.
After.
Well, I mean Superstar Ultra, but that's just
you already said
Superstar with some
More.
more games.
It was amazing,
it was, yes.
Yeah.
but it still wasn't the game I was waiting for.
No. Well, we'll get to that.
I was hoping that game had online, but it didn't.
I
Yeah.
wish it did too.
I don't think any
Epic Yarn?
Kirby game has online.
I don't think any Nintendo game has online.
Fuck you, Nintendo.
I thought we liked Nintendo.
Disclaimer, we actually
Nope.
love this shit.
Fucking.
Or not.
Can we talk about
Nice.
Epic Yarn, please? Because
No.
that game's really good.
Yep. It's
Let's
the
play
best,
it.
man.
Well, Matt and Curious have played it.
Yeah.
We've all played it, I thought.
Yeah, we have. But not
It's
for
really-
Jan-
It's really good, but it's not a Kirby game. It's a Wario Land game.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, but
Except you can't die.
Kirby can do anything.
You can't die
Yes.
in Wario Land
Oh, you can't?
in 2 and 3.
I'm thinking of 4. Yeah.
You could die in 4, but in 2 and 3 you can't die. You have all these different like abilities, but not copy abilities, just like dashing and like jumping and like interacting with the stage abilities,
Yeah,
and
like getting burned.
you collect 2 treasures and a CD
Well,
in every stage. It's Mario like.
Epic Yarn was not supposed to be a Kirby game. It was originally being developed. It was going to be a yarn themed game, but the characters were, I think, was originally just going to be like Prince Fluff. Like
No.
I think was just going to be the star, and then, you know, Miyamoto
He's a
was walking
circle.
around the Englands one day. It's like, I see you got a puffball. You know, we got a puffball. And then they just decided to put Kirby in it, and I think it works out.
It works well
It's
because
probably the best selling Kirby game.
Kirby's got a history of like being just like that guy that Nintendo goes to when they are just like not sure about something, you know?
Hmm.
Like they've done it with Dream Course, with Kirby's Avalanche, with Epic Yarn. He's just sort of like, this idea's like sort of weird, might not go over well like on its own, so just put Kirby in it and just it's like printing money.
Kirby's Epic Yarn is just pure, like, joyful, fun, like, side-scrolling platforming. That's all it is, and that's all it needs to be. It's just fun. It's just a fun, harmless game, and I love the art style. It's gorgeous. I think it's like the
Yeah.
best looking game,
On
like,
the Wii.
on the Wii from a like artistic standpoint. Like Galaxy 2 is the best looking technical game, but like from an artistic standpoint, Epic Yarn looks the best. Like the
I
way
think
the way the like patches and the yarn and all the different fabrics just work with the world and how it like crinkles up and stuff. It works so well. It's so beautiful. It's very pretty to look at.
I won't say
it's
it's up
such a
there.
great like how like the Paper Mario games, Paper Mario 2 in particular, like really use the art style like to work with like the environments, you know.
Yeah.
Epic Yarn did that too in a really fantastic way.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
I really like Epic Yarn. It's one of my favorite Kirby games. But I haven't played the other Kirby Wii game yet. But
What?
I
but
played it just yesterday.
oh well, I believe we only have 2 left to talk about. So why don't we save that one for last, and instead let's talk about Mass Attack.
Okay.
I also like that one, but Ricky doesn't like it very much.
I don't dislike it. It's very flawed. I think it's got a lot of big problems, but it can still be very fun.
remember, it's too hard.
You're in the cage.
It's too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Well, it is very hard. It's a very hard
It's really
game.
hard.
But I
Even
think
like Kirby games for little kids.
well, this one's not.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun idea, like controlling the 10 Kirby's and just flicking them at things and having them die or like kill the. Well, I mean, they can die, but having them like
They mostly die.
yeah, just having them destroy things. It's a fun little concept. I really enjoyed it.
I don't want to say it's too hard. It's hard if you make it hard.
It's pretty hard.
They make it hard though.
Yeah.
Like they encourage you not to lose any Kirby's by giving you medals and rewarding you for getting those medals with super fun mini games.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily have to do that. It's optional.
Yeah, but like the thing about Mass Attack that really annoyed me is that there's just like a lot of stuff that's just there to make it hard. Like between every world,
You
like,
lose your dudes.
you lose your Kirby's, yeah, and you have to re-earn them up. And like immediately in the first stage of the second world, like right after you just took away all my extra Kirby's, there's like a big item with a number 10 on it. It implies that like I need, it's like, hey, you need 10 Kirby's to move this, and I'm like, great. Well, maybe I would fucking have 10 Kirby's if you didn't just take them all away from me. Like the whole game that I played, like I got about halfway through it, and before I was just like, no, thank you. But there's all sorts of stuff like that. They're just like, just making it harder on you, and I didn't dig that. But
Would you say it's akin to Amazing Mirror?
in that like it's cool to see them try something new, even if I don't personally think it works. Sure.
I like it more than Amazing Mirror. I think it's a better game. I think it's
Yeah.
fun. I think it really uses the DS well. I know it doesn't use it quite as well as Canvas Curse, and like this game probably would have been better suited coming out around the same time because it came out after the DS was pretty much over. The 3DS was coming out, or it might have been out. I don't remember. I don't think it was, but it came
Probably
out.
like right before it did.
Yeah, it came out at the very end of the DS's lifespan, and like I feel like it was almost entirely just showing off what the DS can do, and it just didn't need to at that point. But it used the DS's technology very well. I think. I think it's fun. I think it's a good game.
It's a fine game. I just have a lot of. I think it's very flawed. The thing that's awesome about Mass Attack are the mini games,
Yeah, I love the mini games.
like the pinball game and the top down shooter game. I think are better than the main game.
I like the mini games because they like reference like every Kirby thing ever. It's got like Marks, it's like DeRoach, the DDD robot that was supposed to be in the GameCube Kirby game. The tank from Epic Yarn is in there. Uh, Swordsman, Dark Matter, like everything from like every Kirby game ever made appears in one of those mini games, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, the mini games in Mass Attack are so much fun. I feel like they put a lot of care and like love into making them.
I agree. I really like the RPG one too.
That one's okay. It's mostly just like a
Click and stuff.
it's like a dressed up samurai Kirby. Like, you know, it's like it's the whole game boils down to like proper timing, but the way they've dressed it up with like these crazy super attacks and like bosses is charming and fun enough to make it like you overlook that you're just like doing Megaton Punch.
Oh, and the NME guy is in it
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he's canon.
Because canon, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
there's mini games that reference Kirby right back at you, the anime. I think
That means that all of the anime is canon, including the accents.
yes. The next Smash Brothers game, Meta Knight better be speaking with a Hispanic accent.
Yeah.
Hispanic?
Don't
Yes.
get your hopes up.
Well, Mexican, whatever.
Mexican.
Hispanic is not.
It could be.
That's not wrong, Phil. That's a term for that.
See, now I'm wrong.
Anyway, Mass Attack is fun, but I think it's very flawed.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the one Ricky's been waiting for his whole life.
The Kirby
Smash
game
Bros.
that I've been waiting for.
Yes.
Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
No.
Kirby
Kirby's
Return to Dreamland.
Kirby's Return to Dreamland.
Kirby's
Kirby's Return to Dreamland.
Kirby's
Dreamland.
Dreamland Turn 2.
Or Kirby's Dreamland
Kirby's
Wii?
Adventure Wii.
Kirby's Adventure Wii. That's what I
Yeah.
meant. Yeah.
Is that what it's called over there?
Yeah.
That's a horrible name.
That's ass.
Well, over here we have Squeak Squad. It's called Kirby Mouse Attack, but they didn't change the name of Mass Attack.
So you have Mouse
Because
Attack
that's not confusing.
and
Yeah.
Mass Attack.
Yep.
Why do they
Wow.
give you guys different names to begin with? What's the point? Kirby's Adventure Wii? That's terrible.
Kirby's Return to Dreamland really tanked in the European focus testing.
The name?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Donkey Kong
I'm-
Country had already returned, so they didn't really want Dreamland to return.
But oh man, Kirby's Return to Dreamland. First of all, I was so excited because like I wanted that GameCube game so badly, and I never got it. And like this one is basically it. I mean, it's 4 players. The DDD robots in it. It's got the multifaceted abilities from Kirby Superstar. It's everything I wanted in a Kirby game.
It's not quite the game.
It's not
that they
exactly the
showed.
same. Yeah, like the partners aren't there. It's not the same game, but
The
you could tell
perspective's a little different from certain parts.
like that's what that became Kirby's Return to Dreamland. you
No, definitely.
know?
It just took for fucking ever.
Yeah, it took like 11 years, but
Hmm.
oh man, it is so good. The thing, it's hard for me to decide between if I like that one or Superstar more because they're very different. You know, Return to Dreamland is like one solid adventure from start to finish, so they have to keep it fresh with like doling out new abilities every so often and like stage layouts, whereas Superstar just got to just do all this weird different, you know, let's make a treasure based game, let's make a, you know, like amusing like cut scenes where you're like taking down this ship and like the crew is talking to each other. You know, every game in Kirby Superstar felt different, so it was fresh all the way throughout, and they had to get a little more they had to develop this one in a different way to keep it fresh the whole way, you know. But
Yeah.
they did a great job, and the abilities are so much fun to use. There's so many of them.
My
The
favorite part
bosses
is
are
the
amazing.
challenges with the powers.
Yeah,
Those are so cool.
see, those are so much fun, and like they only work because the abilities can all do all these crazy different things, you know. And they designed entire stages around like using the abilities to their full potential, and I think that's awesome. I love the challenge stages, and I just love everything about Return to Dreamland. I seriously don't have a bad thing to say about it.
Nice.
It's a really great game.
You
I
were
liked
saying
it.
you were saying it was like your favorite game at the time before like Skyward Sword came out.
I just loved it so much. Like it's hard for me to say. I have such nostalgia goggles for Superstar, and they did a few things that I think I like better, but that doesn't mean either one of them is necessarily better. I don't think I could decide. It's just so good. If you want to play a good Kirby game, get Superstar Ultra for the DS and Kirby's Return to Dreamland for the Wii.
It's just good old fashioned Kirby goodness
Yeah.
Yep.
that I haven't played.
I will say, I just said didn't have a bad thing to say about it. But I will say, like the mini games in it are butt.
Oh, well, you lied. You're a liar.
So
Yeah.
you're a liar, yeah.
I know.
Boo.
I can say a bad thing about it. Wheel's not in
Boot
it.
'em.
Gooey's on it.
Said a bad thing.
Yeah.
Okay, Gooey and Wheel. That's what
Yeah.
it takes to make a good Kirby game.
It's true.
Except
Oh,
Gooey's
well.
never actually
No
been in a
good
game with Wheel in it.
Kirby
How,
games.
how do you
Is Uncle
guard?
Joe in it?
How do you guard in Return to Dreamland? Is it a shoulder button?
Well,
Um,
you hold the Wii remote on its side, so I would doubt it.
I think it's
is it
like
B?
I think it's like A or B. Yeah.
It's not like Smash Bros. Actually, maybe if you play like with the Wii mode on on Brawl,
Yeah.
Same game.
it's the same game. Oh my god!
No,
It's true.
no,
It's
it's not.
irrefutable evidence.
It's not. It's not the same. It's not the same game.
Well,
Yeah, apparently Return to Dreamland is really good.
yeah,
It's amazing.
Jim Sterling gave it a 10 out of 10.
I gave it a cool out of cool.
Awesome!
Yes.
That sounds like I'm just being a dumbass, but like on our
Yeah.
blog, our reviews don't use like number based scores.
But hold on, you said Jim Sterling gave it a 10 out of 10, but like, he's a terrible person.
He's an awful person. I hate Jim Sterling. Like, I hate him. He gave Mario Kart 7 like a 5 out of 10. And I'm pretty sure not even Skyward Sword got like a 10 out of 10. But Kirby's
I
Dream
don't,
Land.
I don't
Kurt,
get
the,
why like he like reviews games at
I
all.
don't know. His arguments are so stupid because like Kirby's Return to Dreamland got a 10 out of 10, okay, and he straight up like says in the review that Kirby's Return to Dreamland didn't really do anything to advance the Kirby series forward. It just was another Kirby game and that's all it needed to be. And like I can agree with that. That's fine. But the reason he gave Mario Kart 7 such a low score was because it didn't advance the Mario Kart series forward at all. It was just another Mario Kart game and it's like why would you give the Kirby game the 10 out of 10? If the reason it's so good is the same reason that Mario Kart 7 is so bad. It didn't make sense to me. That was the same argument for like Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2. He was like, "Yeah, this game's all right, but it didn't do anything to make Sonic better, so 4 out of 10." Like, the fuck? I hate Jim Sterling. That's
Yeah,
it. That's it. That's
I,
it. That's
I
that's
hate
it.
Jim Sterling too. Like,
That's
I
the
don't
end of the Kirby podcast. Jim
I
Sterling
don't know
sucks
who
dick.
it is.
he's a writer on Destructoid who
Who is also
is an idiot.
shouldn't be writing on for Destructoid.
Yeah. Oftentimes he like writes about like controversial shit like women in video games or um, he'll write like satirical stuff like why Xbox Live is way better than PlayStation Network, and then like I said, it's like satire. So he's actually saying
It's
PlayStation
not.
Network is better than Xbox Live, but
Mhm.
like come on, like, why do you need to do this? You know?
It was Jim Sterling's dumb, but that's enough about him. I wanted to mention real quick before we end this that the Kirby Dream Collection that just came out is awesome, and you should buy it,
Yeah.
especially if you haven't played any of the 6 games on there. But also because it is such a well put together package. Like I did a review of it for the blog because I bought it and I thought it would be timely and it was cool. And like a few years ago, they released Super Mario All Stars for Mario's anniversary, and it was a port of a Super Nintendo game on a Wii disc for $40, and it wasn't even the like latest version of that port. Like
Yeah.
the Super Nintendo alone had a better version of that game, and it wasn't what Mario deserved. But like they went all out with this Kirby game. It's got 6 of the best Kirby games ever made. It's got like a whole history of Kirby that you can watch videos of each different game, listen to music, look at like the manual or not the manual, the box in like 3D. That's fucking awesome. But also it has new challenge stages from Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which they didn't have to include.
Yeah, that's new
Right.
content.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
did. It's brand new content, and in fact, one of the abilities in it is not even in Return to Dreamland. There's a new
Whoa.
ability.
Damn.
A
in
new
the-
old ability.
Yeah, a new old ability.
What ability?
It's Smash, the Smash
Ah.
Brothers ability.
Same game.
Yeah,
That's right.
comes full circle again. That's like 4 circles.
It's the
Yeah,
Smash
first you draw a
anniversary
circle.
too, huh?
First you draw a circle, then you dot the i's, and a great big smile, and presto, it's Smash Brothers.
But yeah, Kirby's Dream Collection is really nice. It looks really good. Like the history section is really well put
In
together,
depth.
very in depth. For some reason like when you like look down the timeline at first, it doesn't look all that impressive, and like for each year it like gives you like random facts like it's like, oh, this year the GameCube was released. Also, the Olympics took place in Beijing or something. I don't. Beijing was like 8 years ago, so
Well, yeah.
well after the GameCube was released. But it gives you like these weird things like about like
What
fucking
president was elected that
yeah.
year?
fucking
It's
Genome Project. It mentions when the Genome Project was finished, and it's like, why is this in a Kirby game?
just to give you some context of like Kirby's history
Yeah.
as a part of the real world history.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, but when you click on like the games, it actually takes you more in depth on each game, and it shows you video and all that. Like I've said, it's very well put together. And if you love Kirby, you should get it. If you haven't played any of those Kirby games, you should get it because it has Superstar and Kirby 64, which I think are 2 of the best Kirby games, probably the
And
2
Kirby's
best.
Adventure.
And it has Adventure as well as Dreamland 1, 2, and 3. So
Nice.
you should definitely check it out if you haven't played any of those. Get that. It's great. Nice send off for Kirby's 20th birthday.
Yes,
Yeah.
I thought it was an excellent package.
Yes. It's good
Do you
stuff.
reckon they flipped a coin and said if it's heads we'll do Kirby, if it's tails we'll do Metroid?
No, because
Metroid was last year. It was with Zelda.
Yeah, and they were making
Well-
a big deal about Zelda with their fucking orchestra, bitches. Bitches
Yeah.
love orchestras.
well, and a new Zelda game. 2 of them even. Well, I guess one of them was a remake, but whatever. Zelda got some stuff, but Metroid didn't get shit. I don't even think Metroid got like a logo.
Like I said,
They should
I
have
think
re-released the Metroid Prime trilogy.
I think I mentioned in a previous like podcast or something like that. Japan doesn't really give a fuck about Metroid.
Yeah, I know.
It's a shame, really.
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
series.
But yeah, it was Kirby.
Yep. Any comments
Yes.
from the last video? What's up?
Yeah, let's read some comments. First of all, both Ghost Nappa and Roxas Axel Shion 3652. I wonder how they found us. Both suggested that we do Kirby, so this one's for you. Stick or Charge 77, depending on who you ask, said this is about Kid Icarus. He said, "I'm down with bows myself. I can use anything well enough, but I want to build a good bow." So we
Oh.
were talking shit about bows, and apparently he likes them. So oops.
Well, Stick, you won't find a good bow. Sorry.
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah,
once.
yeah, me too.
Zerua Lover 12 was like, I have to agree with you guys. Kid Icarus Uprising doesn't need a sequel, but it would be cool to see Hades revived. He is one of my faves, as he should be. Next to, well, everybody. Well, okay. Like you guys said, Nintendo brought back and ended the series in an epic way. Kid Icarus Uprising forever. P.S. Now I'm finished.
Da-da-da-da.
Doodle-doodle-doo. Boom.
Oh man, you know what? I just tweeted it, but while I was at GameStop today, I saw a copy of Kid Icarus on the used shelf, and I died a little inside.
Yeah, why would somebody want to return that?
Yeah, that breaks my heart.
They beat it.
Maybe their hand broke.
Yeah.
There's so much to do.
They're
though.
left-handed. The reason they returned it is they're left-handed.
They needed money to, like,
Afford
that
hand
fixed.
surgery.
yeah. What a story.
We
Jim
just
Sterling,
made up-
get on it.
We just made up a story as to why that game was on the used rack. I hope it gets out on the internet. All right. Ash XX May for the win said he never said there wouldn't be a sequel. He just said not to expect one soon because he didn't want the uniqueness of Uprising to get stale fast. He being Sakurai. Also, Kid Icarus
Brilliant man.
Uprising, in my personal opinion, is better than Ocarina of Time. And indeed, when Pit sacrificed himself to save Dark Pit, that was when my heart dropped. I don't know what brought Ocarina of Time up, but
I guess he
That's
rates
just his
as
personal
best game
opinion,
ever.
man. Like, OOT is, like, a high standard for a video game, you know,
Yeah.
for
well,
most people.
they're not really similar games. Though.
So, well, I'm just saying, like, a lot of people like OOT. He's just saying
Yeah,
that
he's
he
just comparing it
really,
to what
really
was.
likes Kid Icarus. Upright.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, how much do you like Ocarina of Time?
I think Ocarina of Time is perfect, but it's not even like my favorite Zelda game. Like, not even top 3. So
Well, you imagine
That
that,
makes no sense.
and then Kid Icarus is better. That's what he's saying.
okay, all right. Bigger Dreams 19 said someone should do a Nuzlocke challenge on a Pokemon game. No.
I think that would be pretty fun.
No, it wouldn't.
Have you tried it?
No, because I'm not a masochist.
I am.
We're not doing it. And then Flam the Cat said, if you guys want to, you could do the Resident Evil series for the celebration of the new Resident Evil 6, and you could even do the Silent Hill series since there is a new Silent Hill movie called Silent Hill Revelation 3D. None of us play those games.
No,
I've
sorry.
never mind.
Okay,
Question.
Except for maybe Phil.
Phil's played Resident Evils.
Question.
Yes.
Are we just gonna read all the comments in the last video because like there's
Might
only
as well.
13 of them?
Might as well, man. Might as well. Who have we missed here?
All right.
Super Dokugami says.
Super Dokugami says, Ricky, when are you gonna do those reviews?
Yeah.
Yeah. When are you going to review Sonic Colors? Yeah. Let's read all the comments. Izzy NoobTube said yes. That's all.
Nice. Best comment
I'm
of the year.
so glad that I read that comment. Ghost Nappa again said my haunting worked because he kept bugging us about the
Kid Icarus.
extra
No.
by being up
Like,
because it wasn't up on Saturday, so
Yeah.
he was freaking out.
but
One,
I'm
three,
glad
three,
he
six.
listens to it. I'm glad he listens to it, podcast.
Yeah, this one's for you, Ghost Nappa.
Yeah.
One,
Happy
three,
birthday, by the way.
Yes, happy birthday. Because it
Belated.
was your birthday at one point. It is your birthday period. 1337 Weavile said, great work. Voices make every game better. And then there was a conversation between two people about spoilers, and that's it. That's it. That's all the comments. There you go, Ricky. You happy?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not actually happy because I was being sarcastic, and you just totally called my bluff, so I'm not happy.
Joke's on you.
I read them all. Yep. There you go.
I headache you.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm finished.
Yeah, that was Extra Joy. Feel free to leave us some comments. We'll read them. Give us suggestions on what to do next.
Because we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though we're not gonna do Resident Evil or Silent Hill. Sorry.
Yeah.
No.
We don't know enough about those franchises. I've never played a Silent Hill game. I've only played
As
one.
a collective, yeah, most of us don't really know much about Silent Hill. I recently watched this whole thing about the Silent Hill HD collection and how it's super terrible port.
Yeah, it's.
But that's all I know about it.
Yeah, I've never played a Silent Hill game because I am the biggest pussy this
Yeah.
side
Those
of
sorts of games just aren't in my tastes.
Anna Nicole Smith. So, nothing,
Yeah.
never mind.
Same. I played like one Resident Evil game and that was it. And that was forever ago.
I don't really like scary games.
Yeah, I just don't like to be scared. I don't understand why people do, but I guess that's just me.
Well, Resident Evil
6 isn't
isn't-
scary.
yeah,
It's hilarious.
Dude, it's a funny game.
It's a comedy.
Yeah.
Read-
Game
read-
should be a comedy. That Resident
read-
Evil 6 is it.
Yeah, read Phil's review of it. It's great.
There is a pretty scary part where it's a monster, and he tries to force you into like a meat grinder, and
Oh,
if you don't
shit.
if you don't do a QTE in like 0.01 of a second, you just die instantly.
Nice.
Phil, I
So-
really did like your review.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, it was very well written.
Very spot on.
Nice. That has nothing to do with Kirby.
Yeah, well, we were reading the comments and that was relevant. That's why we're not going to be
Yeah.
doing Resident
Am I
Evil.
dead?
No,
Oh.
I'm still here.
Okay. I
That's
thought
why.
I died.
No, well,
Oh.
Silent
You
Hill
might
will
have,
do
but
that.
we can still hear you.
Okay.
If you
Just
died,
checking.
we died.
Yeah.
Ricky,
Come
where
back.
are you?
All right, that's it. We're done.
I know.
Thanks for listening to Extra Joy.
Beep-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop.